What's good? What's good? How everybody out there doing this April 6th, 2022? This year is moving on ahead as it should be. Hopefully, you are having a great week. Weather-wise, here in Atlanta, GA, we've had some turmoil, but survived it. Still here. Hopefully, you're doing well, doing great. Great to see you again. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk for Real Men, where we are live every Wednesday and every Sunday. Wednesdays at 8 p.m., Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so if this is your first time tuning in to the Real Talk Show, you can find us on the TFG TV network of platform of shows on YouTube as well as Facebook. You can find us on TFG TV uncut and ratchet, because on our Wednesday shows, not only do we keep it real, we keep it raw. This is an adult show for adult content, and we talk about things in a real way like no other place is doing it. And as part of the TFG TV platform of shows, we're one of those shows that you can get content about relationships, current events, you name it. But we have a plethora, there's a $10 word, plethora of shows on the TFG platform, something for everybody. Be sure to find us on TFG TV. And so if you haven't already, tell family, tell friends. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. Again, you can find me on Facebook and on YouTube. We need your viewership. We need your support. Let's bring you in some of the family. Let's talk about my co-host that is always with me, Miss Tasha Mack from Memphis, Tennessee. What's going on, McMack?
Not much. A nice quiet day. It started out with some storms, but it's to be expected. We are in that season, but it's quiet now. So,
Fantastic. Well, great to have you here as always, sweetheart. When I see your face, I always know no matter what, you got my back. I know I'm going to have a good show, so I appreciate that. And then seeing my brother from Texas, Mr. Kenny. Always good to see you, brother. How you doing?
Evening, Tasha. Evening, Brother Black. How you all doing?
Yes,
what's going on,
sir. Doing
Kenny?
good. How are you
Good.
hanging in? How's it going with you, man, in Texas?
It's good. Beautiful day today, man. It was 95 yesterday, but it's only like in the mid 70s today with a nice cool breeze. So I take it.
My kind of weather. My kind of weather.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, again, good to see you, my brother. Appreciate you. And so we've got about an hour to discuss a topic that I thought was interesting, since my show tends to lean towards relationships and the issues that we all have, trying to find that special one. And even if you have that special one, how to hold on to them, how to understand them. This is all about trying to make relationships better. And so to get us kicked off here properly, we always hear the term men are from Mars, men are from Venus. And whether you're in a stable, serious relationship or just kind of casually dating, how often has this happened to you that when you get together with that opposite sex, and especially for my brothers out there watching, how have often has this been a case where the woman comes in and she starts to tell you about her day? And oh my God, she lights into all the things that happened to her that particular day, and the girl that she hates at work or the one that hates her, and she had on the same outfit, and oh my God. And the woman is telling you about every last single Tasha's laughing, minute detail that's going through her day. And I have had in my life nothing but female friends. And as a man, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, will she just get to the freaking point? You know what I'm saying? But she wants to tell you every last thing that's going on. And after she's talked for a good 20, 30 minutes straight, you go, so you straight? What we having for dinner? And there's that look on the woman's face like, did you not hear all the shit that I've been telling you about? So we're going to examine why things like this happen, because the way a man thinks and the way a woman thinks, there is really a biological difference here, that the male brain versus the female brain and how we perceive and receive information. And we're going to discuss how this matters in relationships, because we're going to talk about whether it really makes a difference in how we think as we talk about relationships. So unfortunately for you guys watching, all three of us, we're single. So we're going to have to rely on
Right.
past situations and what
Yeah.
we've dealt with. We haven't been having some of our couple people on here lately, but this is one of those times of year where People are going through all kinds of different things. So we're going to do our best to, cover the topics from our own perspective. And I always like to let my audience know we're not experts. We don't even
Right.
claim to be.
Yeah.
If anything, my saying has always been, I can't tell you what will work for your relationship, but I can tell you what don't work.
Right.
I come from a failed marriage. I've run off quite a few hoes and some good women as well. So I can tell you some of the shit that don't work.
Okay.
So I want you to know coming from me. But I invite you to share your comments if you're watching right along with us. Again, you can find us on YouTube and Facebook. So we're going to cover, 9 different things as we kind of look at, how men and women think different. Now, the first one is we're going to talk about, how women see the big picture where men have tunnel vision. And I'll start by asking, first of all, do you guys agree with this? That women see the big picture while men have tunnel vision. Jumping right out there at out the box. Tasha is my resident woman. What do you think about this? That women see the big picture and men have tunnel vision.
I think parts of it are true. I think a lot of it has to do with your age and your experience. Where you are in life will determine how big of a picture that you're seeing. And then, of course, we have to talk about the actual picture because sometimes it's just a fantasy.
Mm.
It's not even like a real picture. It's not even realistic. But I think,
Ooh.
if you had to like narrow down like an age group, I would say probably 25. I would go 25 to 45, 25 and older, and if,
Okay.
that's where you'll start looking more like at a more realistic picture. I
Okay.
think.
Mm.
Okay. All right. Good points. You brought out some good points. I love the one where you talked about looking at the picture itself
Right.
because is that real or imagined? And I'm going to comment on that.
Right.
Jenny from the block in
What's up,
Bronx. What's
Jenny?
going on, baby girl? How you doing? We get you. We're gonna get your ass back on the show live. Come on back home, baby. Come on back home, baby. What do you
Right.
think about this one, Kenny? That women see the big picture while men have tunnel vision.
I think that's fairly accurate. Obviously, every man and woman is different, but I think as a whole, I think women do look at the big picture. And I agree with Tasha. That was a very good point about sometimes that picture can be distorted, and sometimes the picture that you seeing, me and our vision, we looking at it totally different than the woman looking at it. So I could definitely see that. And I think men tend to have a tunnel vision. We don't see anything outside of that vision that we have. Anything outside of that is excess noise. So yeah, I think that is fairly true.
Okay, so let me share some facts with you because this isn't. I'm drawing this from an article where
Mhm.
so-called psychologists have done the research that biologically that how we're different, and so it talked about that a woman's brain is 14% smaller than a man's brain, and it's worth noting that women use their brain more efficiently than men do. Yeah, it talks about how men use more gray matter, which are the localized in the brain, while women use the white matter. And so I'm not going to get all technical here, but this is where their psychological evidence points to the fact that where they came up with this statement that a woman's brain that she uses both hemispheres at any given time. That's why they can focus on several things at once. But with the man, that we focus on one specific task. That's where it comes from, the tunnel vision. And when I read this, I would not necessarily have said it this way that women see the big picture while men have tunnel vision. I used to always think of it from perspective that women think so much long term while we focus on the here and the now.
Mm.
Why am I saying it that way? Over 15 years ago, I wrote an article called 24 Hours to Live. And in this article, I talked about the perception that men bring to a relationship versus women. When you're dealing with a woman, she is thinking, and in this case, they're talking the big picture. I always used to call it the long term because for a woman, from the moment they kind of link with you, they always, well, what does it mean? If I suck your dick, what does it mean? If we sleep together, do we go together?
Right.
Are we involved?
Yeah.
And I thought this because how many times that for me it was just a hookup, but for a woman it meant something so much different, and it had to be long term. And how I play this out in relationships in terms of men and women, how we think, a lot of times women think that because a baby comes involved or the man is spending a lot of nights over there that we must be together for
Mhm.
long term. Well, we all know that for men, what's the word term, Tasha, you coined, the hobo stayers or whatever they call it?
Yeah, the homosexuals.
Homosexuals, because men and women view time. I talked about 24 hours to live. What's going on, Brother Bert?
Hey, Bert.
I talked
What's up,
about
Bert?
how I talked about how men view time differently, in the sense that women, they worry about what's going to happen a month from now, 6 months from now. We still going to be together. And men, I think in this article I wrote over 15 years ago, how we get so much more enjoyment out of the here and the now because we accept things that as they are. And so for us, we sometimes go in relationships knowing that she's not the one. I want to give you ladies something to understand. We're knowing she's not the one, but I'll fuck with you right now. Because for right now, you'll do. But women sometimes have the mindset, even though he may not be what they're looking for, I'm going to turn him into the right one because I'm going to put in the time. So this article, I talked about 24 hours to live. So when it says women see the big picture, I love what you said, Brother Kenny. That picture can be distorted, very, very distorted. Brother Bird, as you're joining us, we're talking about how the male brain versus the female brain, and how we see things differently in relationships. And we only got to number one. What do you think about this first one? I'll let you close out on this subject, how women see the big picture and men have tunnel vision. Do you believe that's true or not?
Yeah, I believe that's true.
Your voice is real low.
Yeah, we do have tunnel vision.
Okay, we can't hardly hear you, brother.
Okay, let me go out and come back in.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
make sure your volume is up on your phone too. Maybe that's what
okay,
it is.
Okay.
Okay.
okay. All right. So while we wait for Brother Bert to pop back in, and when he pops in, we're going to give him the last say on this one. But I'll move to the second one just to get us prepped and ready, and that'll give us a chance to kind of think about this one while we wait. Number two, in terms of the male brain versus the female brain, women tend to talk more than men. I think this is a no-brainer, but
Ah.
but
Mhm.
we'll see. We're gonna when he'll come. When Brother Bird pops in, we'll go to number two. Tasha, you want to go first on this one, or what do you think?
I can go first. Um, are we saying just in general, just being around each other, holding that conversation, or are you saying, just like in what way do women tend to talk? Is it like gossip, or is it just in
Great,
general?
great question. So let me give you some fodder to think on. Women tend to have verbal centers present in both hemispheres of their brain, while men tend to have it in the left hemisphere alone. What does this mean? Apart from this, women tend to link their verbal centers with emotions, memories, and feelings as compared to men. I want to repeat that. Women tend to link their verbal centers with emotions, memories, and feelings as compared to men. Now, what do you think about that?
I think about two things.
Tasha know the answer.
There's no, no, no.
I'm waiting
She
on
know
this.
the
I'm
answer.
waiting on
Because
this.
there's a few things that I'm thinking about here. I'm thinking about the conversations that I've had. I'm thinking about my friend Gina, and how, like, when I'm around her, I'm like, whoop, this chick, she can talk, and she jumps from one subject to one subject. But I think about it in terms like this. Some people just have like ADHD and they just go, and I think about maybe some disorders that they may have, some medical reason, so to speak, why they may do that. Now, also, I'm a really good listener. I will listen to anybody and let anybody talk. And even when you and I have conversations, you tend to drive the conversations.
True.
Now I do add in, but you do tend to drive the conversation.
True.
I don't know. If we're just gonna say like a percentage, I don't know. I think this is really close. I think this is. I'm gonna
That's
say
why I said I didn't know. But
60-40. I don't know. I think it just depends on the person. It's very close.
So let me ask you a question before we move. Kenny shaking his head, and Kenny, I want you to come right behind this thing. Cause Tasha, now for full disclosure for the audience,
Mm-hmm.
what is the one thing I've always said about you?
I'm more like a guy. Like I think like a guy.
And if you're new to this show and you haven't been tuning into Tasha Mack, what Tasha Mack is, we can go back from the first show to now. A lot of your views,
Mhm.
is things where you tend to think like we think as men. So I want you to divorce yourself from that, and that's why I wanted you to hear this. And we're thinking about but again, I'm not saying you're wrong because there is a new age of bitch out here, and it's not women. So
But also, it's not just you. I think about a certain someone who, I deal with with my situationship. He can talk. He just talks sometimes. I think he just loves to hear the sound of his own voice, but he can talk too. I
all right.
really think it just depends on the person, but I don't think it's so skewed and so far on the women that I think we win by a little bit, but men are slowly catching up.
Brother Kenny, what are you saying? Before you answer, I want to make sure I include Brother Burke to get him caught up on this. We're talking about whether women tend to talk more than men, and I'll read the statements really quickly for you, Brother Bird, as you're thinking, because I want you to come right behind Ken. It says, women tend to have verbal centers present in both hemispheres of the brain, while men tend to have it in the left hemisphere alone. Women tend to link their verbal centers with emotions, memories, and feelings as compared to men. Brother Kenny, what do you say?
I totally agree with this. Yeah, it's not even, it ain't even nothing to debate. It ain't no debate. It's hands down. It's not even a close race. I don't know what Tasha talked about. And this in general, I know there's always exceptions to the rules, but I would tell you probably this is 80% women, 20% men. You're gonna find some men that like to chatter. Damon Dash call them chatty patties, but but on average, most of the time, women tend to talk more than men. Women, rather, yeah.
Great points, Brother Kenny. What you say to this one, Brother Bird?
And I like what you said because you were talking about.
Man, I hate his volume is so low.
You still can't hear me?
We can hear you, but you really low.
Really
Yeah,
low.
it's real low.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
We can hear you, but it's low. But we're gonna roll with it.
Yeah, you might just have to talk loud, project.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do agree. I do agree with that. But what age bracket are we talking about here? To tell you the truth,
It didn't say.
Young boys, and they'll trip off the smallest things. They get the popping off, and you see the girls are sitting there like, "Yo, like, what's wrong with you?" So if you talking about an age bracket, then I think it's a lot closer. Now, if you talk about maybe some of the guys, some of the more mature guys, then I would say, yeah, that's 60-40. But I think some of the younger guys, they get it popping now. Like they don't care. They not letting the woman say nothing. I don't hear nothing you got to say. It's all about me. And they just leave it at that. And I've seen that happen plenty of times where I was like, yo, well, who the woman, who the man? Like, what's going on here? The woman like, yo, can you just shut up? Like, it ain't that serious. It ain't that deep.
I agree with you 1,000%. Welcome, Sister Hannah. How you doing, sweetheart? I agree with you 1,000%, and I agree with Ken. Both things could be true because, Brother Kenny, I think when I first heard this point, and just so you guys know, as I read these comments, this is the first time I'm reading it with you guys. I never prepare ahead of time. So every point that's when I pop it up, I only type in the topic. I don't read anything about the article because I want it to be fresh for me too. Brother Kenny, when I first saw this, my first thought was just like you. It's not even close. Of course, women run their goddamn mouth more than men. It's not even close. That's why we as men, when we get off work, we have to go smoke something, drink something before we go home Chris Chris Rock, famously again in his routine, he said it. And if you don't believe me, when his early routine, he said, when a man get off work, he got to go smoke something, drink something, because he got to prepare for all of the talking he got to hear when he get home. That's what he said. And Lord knows, y'all women, I love you to death, but y'all can run your goddamn mouth over nothing a mile a minute, and it just, you do want to take a pencil and stab it in her neck to just make her shut up. But Brother Bert is right as well. One of my guilty pleasures is watching a show called Temptation Island. I love this show. And that demographic on that show, they're under 30. These are people under 30. And it's funny to watch because it'll be a couple that's, the man is 23 and the girl is 18, and they'll say they're in a long-term relationship. I got draws older than you sons of bitches, and you talk about y'all in a long-term relationship. But on this show, these men, they will not shut up, Bert.
Yeah.
These are the most crying, emotional, sapping sons of bitches that I ever seen in my life. Every little thing, they literally be crying. The men be crying, and they, in this new generation, the men talk everything through, and I'm sitting there as a viewer like, oh my God, you know. So, Brother Bert, you are right. If we're talking age group, the numbers get a lot, they go a lot closer, but men above 35, and we ain't got a whole lot to say about all this, you know. Sister Hannah, I'll let you chime in before we move to the next one.
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Can y'all hear me
Women
now?
tend to talk more than men. We're talking about how the male brain is different than the female brain.
Um, I don't know. I'm gonna go by my friends because we're weird. Like we don't talk a lot. Sometimes we want our own space. We don't got time for that. But for the majority, I will say women used to, but this new generation with these podcasts and these men won't shut the hell up and always got some BS to say out their mouth that some of them don't even make sense out of their mouth. I feel like these new age men are just saying whatever. They're not even allowing us to, not saying the stereotype, but you know how women, they used to say women talk a lot. It has changed a lot because I see a lot of men doing a whole lot of talking. And not just with us, they up there running tape, telling how many people they've been with. They just been doing too much out here. So I think before it used to be a lot of women, but now I just think men have took that over.
Again, I can't disagree with you. Last question on you. You say you and your friends. What age group are we talking about with the ladies you're referring to?
Young.
What?
I
Between
just had I
35
had to I had to be sure.
between 35 and 45, I'll say that.
Okay, which
Mm.
again is very interesting.
Mm.
Very interesting. Number three, you agree with this in terms of the way the male brain works versus the female brain. Women revisit memories more than men do. Women,
Disagree.
oh,
I agree.
oh,
I
one
disagree.
agrees, one disagrees.
I disagree too.
Go for it.
I disagree too. I think it's selective. I think we all do selectively, men and women.
I've got to hear this. I've got to hear this. Whoever want to go first on this one,
Yeah, go for it.
I'll
Tasha,
go.
you
Yeah.
spoke out.
Go
I'll
for it.
go. And the reason why I say that is you and I, we've been having these conversations. Your age has a lot to do with this. I think as you get older, you become more nostalgic. You begin revisiting or thinking about other people, your own mortality and different things like that. I do think that it's much like 50-50 as you get older. Now, as far as younger, if we're pertaining to specifically to relationships, I do think that as women, we sometimes will focus on those negative things and
Okay.
will revisit the hurt, instead of, getting past that or trying to, move on past that. But your age plays a huge factor in this.
Beautiful points. Really, really good points.
Tasha knocked it out the park. I agree. I think as a man, a a lot of times we revisit what could have been, or the one that got away. The older we get, and you
Ooh.
get to really, those are the ones that you keep coming back to. That sometimes you be stuck back there rather than moving forward. So yes, and then it's then just your mortality as an older man, especially when you get in your late 40s and 50s. You on the downside. So I think men, we do. I think men actually revisit memories more so than women do. Me personally,
Ooh,
because we don't
very.
talk we don't talk about it much. Then this goes back to the talking. See, flip this one correlates with the who talks the most. I think women do the most talking, but a lot of time men, we're internalizing stuff and just thinking about how things could have been, and so those two go hand in hand, in my opinion.
Very, very interesting points. Hannah and Bert, what do you guys say?
I say this, me personally, I say I agree with that statement because I know me personally, I remember a lot, and I don't know if it has to do with it because, moms tend not to try to forget stuff.
I can't really hear Hannah. I'm sorry.
See?
It's still kind of muffled.
Yeah, it's low. I can strain
What?
in here.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, you gonna have to yell.
I,
Yeah,
it's just
Oh, I
low.
gotta scream.
yeah,
Can
it's
y'all hear
very
me
low.
now?
Yeah, yeah, you probably
Oh,
gonna
we're
have to,
gonna
yeah.
exit and come right back in. You heard me? We're gonna exit and come right back
Y'all
in.
gonna
Oh,
try to
Okay.
y'all gonna try
try
it
okay,
again?
okay,
Okay.
try okay.
Okay, that'll work. So while
Because I
we're
really
waiting,
want to hear what they were saying.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah, me
really do
too.
too. And I was straining if
mhm.
I could hear it, So I'm with you. I want to hear. So I want to give them a chance. I'll hear this when they pop in, but I want to read something. It says, "Have you?" Now I want to wait on them. Let's wait on them.
Okay.
Let's wait on them. But you guys make some brilliant points, though. And especially about being nostalgic and looking back and how age can be a factor, and in these things.
Yeah,
I'll ignore that.
I
yeah,
think about when I've talked to you, Black, when you have certain days where you could be in the car just riding, and it's a song that
mm-hmm,
will, bring you back to a certain time.
mm-hmm.
And and like I said, I know that we've discussed it. Just as you've gotten older, you realize you've caught yourself doing that more and more. So
Definitely, I would say definitely. So let me read something. You guys, let me know when they pop back in. Uh, it says, "Have you noticed how you tend to ruminate over that one unfair comment?" There they go. There they go. Let's see if the
Can you hear us?
It's still
it's
muffled.
still really
So
low for some
we're
reason.
gonna use my phone.
Oh,
okay.
okay, all right,
Okay.
okay.
All right, so let me read this. They'll come in. It says, have you noticed how you tend to ruminate over that one unfair comment your sister-in-law made about you ages ago, even though that issue has been done and dusted with? And when the fresh feelings of resentment make you want to vent out to your husband, he seemingly could care less. Thanks to the naturally higher blood flow to a woman's brain, especially to an area called the cingulate gyrus, women tend to dwell on emotional memories way more often than men do. And it's not because the latter is consciously avoiding thinking about stuff, it's just that he'd rather think about an issue very briefly, spend even less time analyzing it, and then move on to another unrelated task.
I totally agree with that.
I can see that.
I can totally
Okay.
see that.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
So while we're waiting on them, I agree with those points. And again, this is the very first time I was reading it. So I love the points that it made it in that context,
Hmm.
Yes.
in the
Right.
context in which it made it, in terms of, I do think men, we don't want to dwell on things a long time. Literally, when men argue, we argue completely different than women argue. I can be
Hmm.
completely angry with you. I'm gonna say all I'm gonna say, and then I want it to be over with and done. Let's move on to something new. You
Hmm.
know, where women, they do tend to hold on to it a little bit more, and that's why again comedians famously joke about how women will save shit up. So that, oh, what you don't know about is I knew you did this and did that. And they'll bring up old shit and then keep it. But to your point, Tosh, that you made brilliantly at the beginning, it is a kind of balancing act based on age, because I can definitely attest to the fact that as I've aged, I do tend to go back and think about, as Brother Kenny said, the ones that got away, and the what ifs, a little bit more, because you do tend to think about your mortality and where you are at this stage. Now,
Right.
some of that might be situational, because
Mhm.
I would like to believe that if I was still out there fucking like I used to, I probably wouldn't be thinking about, everything, but I've kind of slowed down anyway, and I see things a little bit differently, but and so in that sense, I do revisit memories a little bit more. The last part I'll comment before I turn it over to Hannah and Bert is, when it comes to memories, one of the things I find fascinating is how we store memories. Now, I don't know if this is a biological thing in our brain, and I talk about this famously for women. When you ask a woman about how many sexual partners she has, then she get amnesia all of a sudden, because it's amazing how y'all can remember every little damn thing about something we've done that messed up, and every little slight that a woman or done to you, or why you broke up, this and that. Ask a woman how many, because women are not going to tell you the truth on those things, and they want to, in my mind, they want to forget. Whereas as a man, I'm taking every last nasty experiment that ever happened to me to my grave, and I'm keeping it right here at the frontal cortex. I don't care if it was a hand. I don't care if she put her feet around my dick. It was a good experience, and I'm gonna remember it. And there's many a night when I lay back in bed and I
I'm
think
logging off.
think about that.
But that's because of the judgment is different. That's why.
Thank you,
Oh,
Tasha.
oh,
Thank
Judgment is
you.
different.
you
Exactly.
keep telling yourself that,
Yeah.
but
Let
okay.
me
It
ask you a
is.
question.
You can, as a man, you can have 6,000 bodies that you slept with, but as soon as a woman says that she slept with 20,
That's true.
all of a sudden she's everything. She's a
That's true.
skeezer. She's been in
That's true.
porn for
That's true.
30
That's
That's
true.
years.
true.
That's
So,
true. That's true. That's true. Very good point. Go ahead, Honda and Bert.
I
Very
was
good
about
point.
to say, Tasha hit it. I was about to say, do you really want women to be honest?
I do.
no,
Now,
they
So, if
I
a
shouldn't.
woman
personally
can't, a
do.
woman you really feeling, first of all, I'm going to be honest. I don't know why men or women ask that question because it's none of your damn business, in my opinion.
Thank
Whoever was
you.
with you before you, it should not matter. It's who's here and present. So I really feel like that question shouldn't even be brought to the table whatsoever. Because when you ask questions like that, you just leaving the door for your open for your mind to wonder. So I feel like that. But if a woman came to you like, yeah, I've been with 100. The first thing you gonna say in your mind, ho.
Or I'm
For,
getting
for
that ass quick.
exactly,
And
exactly,
especially if she said she's been with 100 and then she's making
exactly.
you wait, you gonna be judging hard.
No,
Maybe she had to come to Jesus
Oh, full
long
of
then.
bull crap.
Maybe she had to come to Jesus
I,
Or
long then. I don't know.
I've been with
I need
500 men.
somebody
Huh?
experienced.
I've been with 500
I,
And
men.
I've been with 2,000 women.
Okay, well, hey,
I personally
25.
like a woman with some experience on her. My biggest concern would be, is the pussy all beat up down there, you know.
It
Long
shouldn't
as
matter though.
no, that matters, and that could happen whether it's one or two soldiers.
True.
If she been handled real roughly, whoever you've been with, I'm okay with that. That's fine, But my thing is, if you did say, and let's be realistic, if you say, well, man, I've been have 50 guys, I am wondering at that point, is she all hollowed out? You know,
Exactly why
that's
women can't say that.
what's going to. But I am one. But again, I'm going to find out anyway, and I'm likely going to find out within the first night. Especially if you
You
told me
wouldn't
at 50
though.
men, you damn sure not going to make me wait. You giving me that pussy immediately, so I'm going to find out immediately. But
Yeah,
anyway, we go,
man.
we go, we going
Oh,
on
Yeah,
that.
we
We
going off the
went
But
everywhere
rails.
okay,
but there.
let's go to number 4, since you guys got great volume. So in the interest of moving along, women are more tuned into their emotions than men. And as you said, Ken, a lot of these are kind of correlating with the other ones. But Tasha's, I'm looking at your face. I'm looking at your face, Hannah. Women are more tuned into their emotions than men. What do you guys think about this? Tasha's shaking her
No.
head. No.
I don't know if I would consider it tuned in because I saw something. I saw a TikTok the other day, and it was I think it was like a guy, like basically giving his view of a woman like on her period, and just all of like the emotions that we go through. He was just giving his experience because you can't possibly begin to like get in our head. I'll take it like this. When it's our cycle, the emotions that we do experience, we don't know. We don't know why we're crying. We don't know why we're mad. We just don't know sometimes. And but to say that we're in tune with it, we just know that we don't feel like ourselves.
Mm,
True.
We don't have any
mm.
control over that shit. So you don't know who you're going to get in that moment.
I
But
completely defer to your logic because I never understood that time of a woman. So this
Right.
is where I truly learn from what
I,
you're saying.
I don't know if it's really just tuned into it. I think that we just experience a lot of emotions and sometimes we just can't verbalize it. I think about going back to, as like a baby or something. They cry, they experience, but they can't verbally tell you like what's wrong with them. And sometimes as women, we can't verbally tell you what's wrong. We just know that something's wrong. So.
I get that. Fellas, what do you think about this one?
I think women are more tuned into their emotions than men, but I have an asterisk on this question. I think that men want to be more tuned in, but society has told men to suppress your emotions because if you're emotional, now you acting like a bee.
Right.
I had a young lady one time told me that so you in your feelings, and I was like,
Yeah.
so I'm in my feelings.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is as a man, I can't have feelings. And if I am, then that's not somebody you want to deal with. So my thing is, I tell women is like, if you tell a man, so you in your feelings, why you in your feelings? If you want a robot, then you'll get one from a man because then he won't let you in at all. He'll shut down completely. So I think we got to be careful with this one. But I will say that I think number 4, women are more tuned into their emotions, but I think men want to be, but they just feel like that they will be looked at as a B if they are.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Bert?
Go for it.
I'll say this. I'm going to piggyback on Tasha and Kenny. I feel like sometimes we can be more emotional, but as far as in tune, the way we should, I'm going to speak by me experience. Sometimes I just be in a bad mood and I don't know why. Like nobody did anything to me. I don't want to be bothered. And sometimes you just can't explain like, today is not the day. Like Monica made that song. It's just one of them days. And so sometimes we just feel, me personally, I'd be like, today's the day where I just don't feel like being bothered by anybody. And I know we can tap into them. I think we can tap into them a little more than y'all, but I'm not going to say as much because I feel like men do it. But when they do, sometimes it is a big uproar and people, like Kenny said, society don't really want you to. So I think we all are emotional. I think we're more emotional, but I don't think we have as much control over our feelings or in tune as society thinks we do. Okay. That's why people are like, oh, these women are crazy. It's not that they're all crazy. They just can't really put into how they're feeling at the moment. Like when you hear a woman say, I don't know, sometimes you really just don't know. Like we're not trying to be difficult or not trying to relate to you. Sometimes we really just don't know. But us as women, we're expected to.
Okay.
Could have fooled me. It's like, no, look, I think everybody's right. I just think that with men, I think we are in tune with our emotions, but like as Brother Kenny said, we suppress it because how the way society look at it, and they'll look at us and they look at us like bitch assness. And then if a woman try to go ahead and do what she has to do and want to speak her piece, then she crazy and she out of her mind. And that's just how a woman is. I just think that it just has to get to a point where you just have to be comfortable in your own skin. I keep going back to that, but you got to be comfortable in your own skin where you don't really care what anybody thinks. And it's your delivery on top of that as well. If your delivery is right, then you can go ahead and, let somebody know how you feeling.
That's
But
very true.
I just think, tell you the truth, I just think it comes down to the individual. And I think it's really, to me, I think it's a split, to tell you the truth, as far as who's tapped into their emotions. I just think that women just get the bad side of the stick. Because like what the two ladies have said, we don't know how to express ourselves sometimes. We don't know what's going on.
Okay.
And then it seems like you're crazy when really I'm not crazy. I just don't know how to express myself right now. Just leave me the hell alone.
Okay. So
Bert,
I'm going
Bert,
to.
Bert hit that out the park, especially with the delivery. It is really about how you deliver.
I love that, and I don't disagree with any of the points you
real.
made. Except I'm going to say this. I'm going to take an unpopular view. I agree with the part. I think it is fairly even, but I'm going to take an unpopular view, and this is maybe exactly why I'm alone.
I love it.
No, we know why you alone.
I know
Like,
where this
it
is
ain't
going.
got nothing to do with this
I mean,
question.
seriously.
I think I know where this is going.
And I'm being so serious. And I'm being so serious. I think there are a lot of factors that go into this one, but so I think it's pretty much even. But while I agree with everything you guys said, in that if a man shares, he can be looked at. But again, this new generation, they do it. They certainly. I think, and from where I sit, men are just as in tune with their emotion as women, and I think we can articulate it better. I think we choose not to for the reasons why you guys say, because of how it's going to be perceived, especially for an older generation of guys. And then I think for sometimes, frankly, we're okay with, I know exactly how I feel, and I don't need your help and me helping me figure it out. I think sometimes women take advantage of the fact that they are women and female, and this whole thing about your cycle is, look, I don't understand all the shit that's going on down there with your plumbing, so I don't pretend to. But I think you guys get away with a shitload of murder by being able to blame it on that. So when I hear that, I'm just angry. I don't want to be bothered, and I don't even know why. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No,
I think I this is my feeling. I think sometimes some of you ladies, that, and you can get away with that. And so you have a license, in my opinion, sometimes to be a bitch, knowing you're being a bitch, and be able to get away with being a bitch. And so I think sometimes that's used to your benefit, that I don't know how I feel about things. I think we as men, I know I know exactly how I'm not conflicted. And I'm not even saying me, I think men, I think we're just as in tune with knowing exactly why we feel, but we choose in many cases not to articulate that because it opens the door to other areas. That's my feeling. So
No, and you're absolutely right. That is your feeling, but you let me know when you get an extra dose of hormones every month.
Okay.
Don't go a little weird.
When
And
you
then
get paid
let
for
me just
5
say
days
this too.
straight, let
I
me
Well,
think,
know.
and as men, stop acting like dick is the answer to everything, because this is what men like to do too. Because Black, you've done that to me. You just need some dick. I know that's what's wrong with you. That's not the answer, okay? That's not the answer. So we
but
can stop
Thank
acting
you.
like that
okay,
is.
But
unless you
sometimes we do just need some dick.
I do, because
Sometimes,
sometimes
but
it
it's
really
not
is the
it
answer.
is not the cure all
That
for everything.
that same friend you
I
talked
don't
about
know.
earlier,
I don't
who
know.
who who
This
It
can
is
dick
talk,
is
not
the cure.
it is
that same friend you talked about earlier, we're gonna say that dick wouldn't cure a lot of her problems.
oh, I've said that I've told
No,
her,
good
bitch, you
dick.
need
It's a
some dick.
difference.
She just
But
need dick.
she
Period.
needs dick. I promise you she does. So
But if
So
it's
yeah,
trash, you're gonna be worse.
so even at this stage, even if it's trash dick, that can cure a lot of her ills. And so sometimes it is the answer. But you make a good point. And that's why I said the beauty of this conversation is, that's why I said I'm still learning. We will never understand you women and everything. I get that. And so I'm never
right.
going to have an extra dose of hormones, like you said.
Yeah, we'll
So
never understand.
I concede. I
Well,
concede.
y'all know why man caves were invented, right?
Exactly.
Because
Why?
when women go on
Exactly.
their menstrual cycles, we
For
had
when
somewhere to
that
go.
time period, look, I don't
Excuse
know what's
y'all?
going on with her.
No,
So you go do your thing.
I
I
mean that.
successfully in my marriage, we always
I'm just being
we
honest.
always had 3 bedrooms. for a reason.
I'm
For
happy
that,
I'm always polite.
that reason, she needed a room, a safe space, and I needed a safe space. The bedroom, this is some of my greatest, and even when I was dating in my best relationships, but you need some place where you can go and work that shit out and get that monster off off your back, while I can be somewhere, because don't worry me with all that shit, while you're working it out, But I would imagine, that time when you got a whole lot of extra shit going on down there, you know, God bless you, but I think y'all get away with murder with that shit too. Y'all even get commercials talking about y'all plumbing. Let me have a commercial talking about how my balls is itchy and all that other y'all be getting them looking crazy.
Well,
So
that's a whole different subject. It's a
I'm just saying.
Oh, man.
Well, look,
You know.
we can switch.
I'm
No,
just-
oh,
I'm
I
just
would
saying.
Y'all think y'all want to
gladly,
deal with the monkey? A switch
I would
ended.
gladly switch with a man.
no, thank you. I'm
No.
good.
They do have
No,
this
thank you.
system where you can experience labor pain and cramps.
They can
No,
keep that.
I'm good.
I don't want that. I know it's tough on y'all.
So
I ain't
y'all
gotta.
I
understand.
believe
I
that,
trust y'all when y'all say it.
and I
do
still,
too.
and I think y'all can handle pain better than we can every day.
Yes.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I'm gonna take it to my grave. I don't think we would take advantage of the situation as much. We as men, we get sick, we get the flu, we get ill.
Y'all act like toddlers.
And we do act like babies.
Yeah, we
to a
do.
certain
We
extent.
do.
But do you know why? Because we so rarely get to just sit around and do nothing without you sons of bitches telling us we ought to be doing something. That we take advantage of that opportunity, because how about on Valentine's Day, you want to give us socks and shit, but you want big gifts. So for that brief moment that I got a little cough, a little cold, rub my stomach, rub my head, wait on me a little bit, make me feel a little bit special, because for the other motherfucking 355 days of the year, we're waiting on your ass.
No,
Lie.
until you bleed for a month, a week every month and survive, I don't want to hear a damn thing.
Okay, thank you.
You hear this evil shit, but okay.
Thank you. Y'all
Hey,
shut
bro, well, she's one of the rare ones. On Valentine's Day, she go all out for me. So
Oh, okay. Wow.
yeah,
That's
she's
what's
on
up.
the minority.
So
That's
brother
what's up.
Bert, though, so you do know you have the exception.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. I do know.
Yeah.
That's why I said she's in the minority.
Long as we can say that.
Yeah.
Long as we can say that.
Because
long as you know you got the exception.
I do know that.
women be half-assing on Valentine's
Man,
Day. I'm gonna give you some tonight for Valentine's Day.
That's a gift.
I'm gonna do
Yeah.
something. I'm gonna do something special.
I'm gonna give you some special attention
Something
tonight.
special.
Girl, go.
Wait, y'all dead serious?
I'm like, girl, go.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, y'all not joking.
No,
You serious?
we're not
No.
We're not joking. That's a fact.
Ah, that's a fact.
That's real. That's some real shit. What's going on? And
Shit, that should be daily.
Yeah.
it's not. It's not.
I'm gonna make you a sandwich. I'm gonna make you a sandwich, and I'm gonna give you some tonight.
Bernie Mac talked about this even when he was alive. That on your birthday or special, you got to wait for special occasions. We clearly not gonna get to all 9 of these.
Obviously not.
So with that in mind, I want to move on to a good one. I want to jump to number 7 then, because I want you guys to think about this in terms of the male brain versus the female brain and how this matters in relationship. Women need a combination of things to get aroused, where men need visuals. True or not true?
True.
That's true.
True.
Oh, damn, I ain't getting right.
Not true.
That's true.
Ooh.
That's true.
All the men, we say true.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
I want to hear the reason
I gotta
why.
hear your logic. I gotta hear your logic why that's not true.
We don't need 1,000 things if you know how to hit the spot. The problem is men out here who be all around the bush and don't know where the spot is. So you got to do other things to get there. Also, I'm not talking about you.
I'm not talking about me.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
You look at me like I'm talking about you.
I ain't worried about me.
You want to be getting married? If that was you,
I ain't worried about
all
me.
right.
I love it. I love it.
So anyway, if I rudely was interrupted, I don't feel like I think it depends, because sometimes men, y'all don't really need the visual, because sometimes If a woman gets sexy, y'all want to hit it and quit it. Y'all want to get down to it. I don't think all the visual matters sometimes.
Interesting. I don't agree.
No, I don't agree with that.
I mean, I'm not a man. I don't have a penis. I'm going
Yeah,
by me.
yeah,
If
no,
you can
no,
hit, if you know the
no,
spot, it don't take all day to get there.
no.
Just like Tasha
okay.
it said to me in the last segment that until we bleed, this one
That's
we and
all.
you
Y'all
pretty
right.
much
Tasha, I'm
we
gonna let
pretty
you
much
go
know.
then.
Tasha, what you saying?
No, it is true. On average, it takes women to what 10 to 15 minutes to become fully aroused. That's what the whole thing is. That's like what science says. Like gynecologists say, it takes women that long to be fully aroused. I've seen this topic be evaluated a lot, like on different podcasts, social media, and everything. And it has been a major complaint where a lot of women say, that they're just not into it. Even it started specifically with a guy posting that if a woman needs to be spit started, then she's not the one for you. And so that went
Spin
into like this
started.
whole thing.
I
Yeah,
love it. I
he
love
said
it.
if you have to spit start
City,
the
why you
cat, then
looking
it's
like
not for
that?
you.
City, why you looking like that?
And
I
so
know.
And then
so
he looked like, what the hell?
it took a gynecologist to explain that no, it's not on her, it's actually on you as the man, if that's the case. So
Yeah.
we know it takes a little bit more for women to warm up.
Okay, I kind of agree with you, Tasha.
All
Brother,
right.
brother Bert, you and Kenny, what you got to say on this?
You want to go, Kenny, or?
No, you go ahead.
Look, I think it does take a little bit more work on a woman. I think you got to be a little bit more creative. Do a couple different things. You know what I'm saying? Just to not to get caught up in that rut. You know what I mean? Take it to another level sometime. With men, yes, we are visual. Yeah, you can come in with lingerie, come in with heels and all that stuff. Yeah, we're gonna probably tear that shit off you in a minute. But still, that's getting us aroused to our highest point where we just want to go ahead and just massacre you.
That's right.
Yeah, I do believe that
This
it's.
is PG, sir.
Oh, it is.
No,
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 we-
no,
But
no, no,
I
it's
do
uncut.
believe
No, it's
that I do
uncut.
You
We're
off
believe
good.
that.
it just takes a little bit
Yeah.
longer. I don't know if it takes 10 to 15 minutes. Like if I say, hey, that might be the average. I don't know. I'm not counting, but I do know that it takes a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Man, we can go ahead and quit and be done for the day.
The day.
Beautiful
For some
points.
for some people, and to Hannah's point, for some people, you just find that one that just does it for you, and it
Yeah,
don't take
Now
that
that's
long.
true. Now
That's
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 true.
true.
true
You're
too.
right.
So
That's
it's
Now
true.
that's
like
true
we
too.
Y'all
ready
right.
to go as soon as they
Now
walk
That's
in.
that's
true
So
too.
Because I be trying to molest him. He be mad.
That's true too. So you
what?
I be
found
trying to
your
bust through the
one.
office
You
door.
found your one.
That's
So good
true.
point,
Yeah.
Tasha. Brother
Yeah.
Kenny, what you say?
I definitely agree with this. I was confused about this spit starting. I'm like, what is this? A doggone 75 cutlass? What you trying to spit start? Why you gotta? I mean, that's the only thing I remember
75
having is you having
cutlass.
to try to. You got to put some WD-40 in the carburetor on the
Stop.
shoulder.
Stop.
So what you obviously whatever you doing and you ain't doing it right if you got a spit start. But I digress. But anyway, I do agree with
Right.
this. I think men, we visual. It don't take much for us. And then the thing is, for a man as a woman, all y'all got to do is rub up against him. Y'all feel down there and it's growing. Y'all already know he ready. So you already got that. You got okay. He ready to go. For men, we gotta kind of figure it out and do some other things. And I think for a man, for a woman to really be aroused, it's other things that you do even before you get into the bedroom that actually get her aroused. So I think
Now,
I think I agree with this number
Yeah.
7.
now what you just said, Brother Kenny,
Okay.
for any of my younger viewers that might see this, that's a grown man talking. That's a grown man
With
talking
gray hair
and giving advice.
that ain't spitting. That
And the
ain't
reason
spitting. That ain't got to spit.
the reason why I want to highlight that point is because this is where my younger brothers can learn. Yes, you're young, and when you're young in that age group where the wind can blow and your dick get hard, we get it. We all been there. But there's an art to making love to a woman, not just her body, to her brain. And that's a grown man telling you that longevity matters. Longevity matters, stamina, and there are things that you can do long before you even jump in it. So I want to share a little bit really quickly what it says. It says, very simply put, all a man really needs to get going are visual cues. They have 20 times more testosterone in their bodies than women do, which makes them concentrate on the physical aspects of sex more. Women, on the other hand, can take their time because they consider a whole lot of things: the mood, the ambiance, the scents, the sounds, and of course the emotions. And I love that last part because you brought it up first, brother Bert. There are grown man things you can do to mitigate the time in between, as Tasha say, because that's what I used to focus on at my height. Is that I wrote an article called "The White House," how home court advantage was everything, so that when you cross that threshold, you belong to me. I was God. I controlled the heating, the lighting, the temperature, what we were drinking. And I used to play a game with myself. I used to look at the VCR, the time on the VCR, and of course, put on my music. And if it took me too many more than 15 minutes, I knew I wasn't doing something right, because from the moment I opened the door as a single bachelor, my apartment smelled great. I had my little oils burning. So the moment that she walks through the door, oh, it smells good in here. The lighting, the ambiance was nice and lit. How can you want to get a woman in the mood if she's walking into a lit up ass place, where you ain't even getting her ready? The music was playing, especially when we got introduced to the MP3 player, where now I didn't have to change out CDs and things of that nature, so I could have the music set up to go. So Johnny Gill, you don't owe me nothing. Get in the mood. If I wasn't in that pussy by track 6, then I knew she wasn't gonna give me no pussy, no way, because track 6, I was knee deep in that pussy already, because every song on that CD had it going on, and so I knew all those things. And again, as soon as she walked through the door, I'm handing her a glass of wine. I'm not asking her, would you like a drink? Here's a drink. I'm doing all of those things to lower her inhibitions with the lighting, the music, the smell. I'm hugging her. I wrote an article called "The Sexiest Bitch Alive." I don't know what, when she's coming from the streets, what a boyfriend, husband, whatever, but when you cross that threshold, I'm squeezing that ass. I'm kissing you on the neck. I'm telling you, God damn, that ass is fat as all get out. That ass is fatter than a 3-headed rat. I'm telling you all the shit that you ain't gonna hear at home, because I'm using all the tools at my disposal to get you there. Because I know for me to get there, you ain't gonna even be coming in my house if you ain't got no big pumping titties, a fat pumping ass, and a deep musty snatch. So the moment that them drawers drop, you got everything I need to see anyway. Now, having said all of that, as I've aged, it take a whole lot more to get this engine revving than it used to. Now I do need more than visuals. You can
need
have
some
the baddest
WD-40,
body
huh?
now, and no, not for me necessarily. You can have the baddest body now, but I'm looking at other things now. I am looking at her nails. If they too long, I'm thinking. I tell famously a story. Go out to the club with the chick here a few months ago. I started out the beginning of the night. She had a real nice body. Lady was about 40, nice body. I thought about fucking her. But as the night wore on, she shook and shook and shook and twerked, and her neck was all sweaty and her hair was all sweaty. All I kept thinking about was her pussy was stinking. When she would lean back against me in the seat, she had that old musty smell between liquor, food, and perfume wear and all. And I kept thinking to myself, if I get this bitch home, I'm going to take a full shower, and she ain't. She going to want me to go down between them musty legs, and I ain't going to be able to do nothing and operate, because the back of her neck was all musty and sweaty and shit. I was thinking, if her neck is all
That means
sweaty
she ain't washed her neck
and them
prior
tight
to.
jeans, that pussy was going to be just as raunchy and musty as it can be. And it eliminated, so even visually, ass was still fat, tits were still pumping, but I was completely turned off because I knew it was very little I could do with her. So as I've aged, it becomes more than a visual thing, for me to look at now.
Would you allow her to take a shower though? Just say.
I expected it, but I swear to God, I'm thinking, Ken, I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna take a good shower,
Right,
because I I've been sitting around all night, and again, I'm gonna prop my leg up and wipe good between the crack of my ass in case you want to eat a little ass down there. I'm
You know
not opposed
what?
to eating a little ass. And I'm figuring she's not gonna do the same for me. She not gonna wash everything. And so as soon as I part them lips and I smell that musty dusty, then I'm gonna be completely turned off. I know the crack of her ass was gonna stink. Clearly,
Oh my
because
God.
she had them long nails, you know. And so
Don't mean
all those
nothing.
things was gonna turn me off. And I've seen them where they jump and they either they lay flat out, think you're gonna fuck just getting in the club, or they take a quick shower. And when they jump in and they coming out in less than 10 minutes, I'm thinking I can't go down, and I haven't eaten any good pussy in quite a while for that reason. The women in this generation, they don't pay attention to their hygiene. I would love to eat me some good, clean pussy, but these bitches, they won't take care of that area down there. Either they won't wash it properly or they play in it too much. All these different toys, and they have big sausage fingers rubbing around in their pussy, creating all the other different infections and shit. It just makes it horrible. So
And that has been our time. And, once again, I do apologize that we have been canceled again.
We,
PSA, wash your cat.
you ain't gonna be canceled now, Tasha, because y'all on TFG Uncut and Ratchet, so you good to go on
Vinegar
now.
is your name. Is your friend.
I can't.
so anyway, so that really has been our show. We didn't get to all of the topics, and I would love to have covered more. But this
Oh,
is Real Talk for Real Men on TFG TV, uncut and ratchet version, where this
Oh,
is
this is uncut.
this is
Oh,
uncut.
I've been
yeah,
showing out.
yeah.
Every
It's
episode is
Uncut and Ratchet.
uncut,
Yeah.
so we can
Y'all
go
should have
all the
led
way
with
there.
that.
I did. You missed
Oh, I
the
wasn't
part.
here.
You missed the part. And so, just so you know, as we wrap up, we are TFG TV Uncut, ratchet version of Real Talk for Real Men. So we grown here. We don't have to hold back at all.
Oh, you can show
We're
me.
slowly building our audience. So I implore you guys to please tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody else. Because if you want to join us for these conversations where we do not hold back and we talk about some shit in a real way, and maybe you might learn a few things just like myself. I invite you to subscribe, find us, comment, share, because we need your support. And I
Exactly.
always like to close out by having that velvet voice, Brother Kenny, tell us where you can find additional content on TFG TV.
Well, we thank you guys for joining. Well, you can find Black and Tasha, Real Talk for Real Men, on Sundays and Wednesdays, Sundays at 5 p.m. Central, right here on TFG Uncut, TFG Ratchet, and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central, right here on TFG Uncut and TFG Ratchet. Now, on Thursday nights, you can find Forgive Us Later with Lamar Falk, DJ Sullivan, and Charles Moore, three guys that's going to be talking about entertainment, sports, and whatever's going on, and they're gonna be saying some crazy stuff just like Black. You can find them on their channel on YouTube. Forgive Us Later at 7:30 p.m. Central on Thursday night. So check them out tomorrow night if you can. On Fridays, you can check out the Real Estate Insider with the Black Robin Leach, Lamar Levity, Lamar Falk. He goes live at 8 p.m. Central. He goes through celebrity homes. He normally has a live guest on Fridays and as well on Sunday nights, as well around 9 p.m. Central. Catch him as well on the Real Estate Insider channel on YouTube. On Sundays, also at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can check out Late Night with TFG with Lamar Levity, with Dwayne Martin, with Rosonda Mitchell, and Charles Moore. They talking entertainment, sports, news, and whatever's going on. Then on Monday nights, you can catch myself, my guy Lee Black, my man Brenton Haynes, and Devin Devine, TFG Tonight. We're talking politics, world news, sports, and all that other stuff. Devin Devine is getting in somebody's business, so you're going to get a little bit of ratchet stuff there as well on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Central. Then on Tuesday nights, you catch me, your guy, the sports guy, TFG Sports Media on YouTube at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesdays. I'm giving it to you straight with no chaser. So, man, we got the shows. Check out the TFG TV network, man, and hopefully we can get somebody that's doing food,
Hint, 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 hint.
somebody that's doing food. Hopefully we can get them back as well. But anyway,
Oh, we
Come,
going there.
yeah, come check us out, man. Come check out TFG TV.
Come on home to the
we
come on home.
got the shows. So anyway, that's what
Move
we
your
do.
hand.
Appreciate you, my brother Kenny. And as few announcements to close out, I want to share with you guys that in the interest of better quality of life, Tasha and I, we will be instituting, our new format here where for every 6 shows, we're going to take a week off. Tasha and I have been doing shows for the past 2 years, 2 shows a week around the clock. So don't be
That's a lot.
surprised if you see us off a little bit more often to give ourselves a chance to break, mentally decompress, and come back with fresh ideas. So every 6 shows, don't be surprised when you see us taking that little break. It's a quality of
Okay.
life break, mental health break. We'll be
It
doing that.
should.
Also, I'm going to be planning, hopefully, an Easter version of the all male point of view, all male panel. We haven't done one since Valentine's Day. So I'm going to be putting together my next all male panel where we'll, especially under the TFG Uncut banner, we're
Oh
going to be able
Lord.
to give it to you guys as raw as you can stand it.
Oh
As raw as you can
Lord.
stand it. And lastly, I want for the viewers to get set for merchandise coming from TFG TV on
Yes.
all of our different shows. The man behind the plan, Mr. Lamar. When I tell you he is Mr. Barry Gordy, Mr. Black Robin Leach, we're going to have our own merchandise that you guys will be able to wear, hopefully proudly, in representation of what we do here at TFG. And so I am going to tell you right now, I can't wait to have a hat or a shirt that's going to say nasty, filthy, no goods.
I
You
will
heard
wear
it here
that.
first.
I will wear that.
You heard, there you go. And when you wear that, please, when people ask, what is that all about? Tell
Right.
them that's about TFG
I want a fitted hat that
TV.
say that.
Absolutely. Nasty, filthy, no goods. And we're going to leave it at that. But that said, been a great show. Thank you guys. I love you, your family. You make my week. And so I know that I'm on the downside, but it's great to see you guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight. And we will see you again on Sunday. And until then, keep it honest, set your priorities straight. Always keep it raw, but also keep it real. God bless.
Salute. Peace.